Thank you for joining me today. It's Brian Gubernick, and welcome to the No Days Off podcast, where we believe that every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. Many of our listeners, maybe all of our listeners here at No Days Off, are entrepreneurs, business owners, small business, large business, maybe even running businesses within other businesses. You're working for a business, but really you control your own destiny. Therefore, you're running a business within the business. You're an entrepreneur. But most all of us are driving towards building a bigger and better world via our businesses. And so I want to talk around how we can simplify the path to increasing our business's revenue. Doesn't matter if you're large, doesn't matter if you're small, doesn't matter if you're selling widgets or services. At the end of the day, I think there's a simple way to look at this. And I want to encourage everybody today as we work through some things to follow along and maybe just pick out a tactic or two that we discuss and go implement it. Okay? So let's talk about revenue. At the end of the day, whether you're selling widgets or a service, there's really only two ways to increase your revenue. You're either going to grab more customers, so you attract more customers to buy your product, or you attract more customers to use your service. So you either create more customers or you create more income per customer. So a customer buys, say, multiple units, or a customer uses multiple services from you over time or on the spot. So again, at the end of the day, with respect to revenue, there's only two ways I think you could really increase it. Now, there's probably some other ancillary things that are much less significant, but you're either going to find more customers or you're going to create more income per customer. Okay, so now looking at those two lanes, let's start with more customers. Let's say you want to get more customers. There's only, in my opinion, a couple ways to even do that. Number one, if you want more customers, you got to have more leads. Let's talk about how we get more leads, okay? Now, there's a few obvious ways we get more leads. Maybe we're turning on or paying for leads. We're turning on a lead source. So in the real estate sales game, that's my background. So let's just use that as an example, though, of course, this applies universally. But I could turn on, say, pay-per-click leads, or I could turn on some sort of marketing service of sorts that generates more leads, more people interested in my product or my service. Right? So that would be a way I could spend money on leads. But there's other ways to acquire more leads. Maybe the mechanisms I'm using today, I can double or triple down on and grab more leads. So if I have more leads, I will have more customers if I just continue business as usual. Another way to think around maybe getting more leads, maybe specifically if you're in the sales business, you just need more salespeople. The more salespeople you bring into your world, if they have their own book of business or their own sphere of influence or whatever it may be, they bring with them or they attract, individuals that they've been alongside to come with them as far as customers go. So again, in terms of more leads, you could pay for leads, you can work harder on your current lead sources, or you could recruit people to your world that bring leads with them. In bringing more leads, you have an opportunity to get more customers. Now, in addition to that, number two, with respect to more customers, if you want more revenue, you can improve or increase your conversion rate. Remember, so I just said you could have more leads. Well, instead of having more leads, what if you just better converted the current amount of leads that you have today? So you can increase your conversion rate. How would you do that? You would do that either via improving your skill. So you're getting better at converting. That's from practice or training or whatever it may be. Or you can improve your conversion rate by, again, recruiting people into your world that are already experienced and have a higher conversion rate. And as a result, they drive your company conversion rate up. So let's summarize. You want more customers. You either have to create more leads, you have to improve your conversion rate, or you can do both grab more leads and increase your conversion rate. Follow me? So let's just pause right there. If you're thinking about ways to get more customers and you want a focused 30 or 60-day sprint, I would challenge you and say, hey, do you want to grab more leads? How about you run a 30-day sprint on just focusing on more leads? Because we know that if conversion rate remains consistent and you have more leads going into the top of that funnel, you will spit out more units or more service sales or whatever it may be. Or if you don't want to focus on leads, maybe you focus on improving conversion rate. Keep your leads the same quantity, but convert at a higher rate. Maybe that's a good 30-day or 60-day sprint for you. So going back to the original statement, there's a couple ways to increase revenue: by creating more customers, we just ran through that, or by increasing the income per customer. We increase the income per customer, revenue goes up. Now, how do we increase income per customer? First, we can increase our average price. How do we do that? Well, it goes without saying, you charge more for your widget, for your product. Charge more for your whatever you're selling, your service. That would increase your average price. Now, of course, there's downside risk to that, but a way to get more income per customer is to simply charge more. We could also, if you're in real estate sales, maybe focus our attention on areas that actually have higher price, and therefore being that we're paid on commission, your commission, if it is in fact a percentage of the price, increases, right? So you could focus your attention on higher dollar value properties. Again, I'm going to go back to recruiting. You can recruit people in your world that work higher dollar neighborhoods or whatever it may be. Number one, we can increase our average price. Number two, if we want to increase our income per customer, we can increase our rates. So we can increase our product price or our service price, or we can increase our rates, which in the real estate world would, of course, mean I'm going to charge more, a higher commission rate, because I deserve a higher commission rate. Or maybe if I'm selling a product, I have additional fees or services even that I can provide that align with or support that product. So my rates are thereby increasing. So again, if I want to get more income per customer, I can increase my price, I can increase my rates. The third thing I could potentially do is I could find outside income. If I want to increase my income per customer, can I create more outside income? Are there other ancillary things that I could offer the customer that create more income for me? More income for my business. And then lastly, if I want to increase income per customer, can I sell them more than one unit? In real estate sales, can I have somebody that's a repeat or referral type of client? Or maybe it's an investor buying multiple properties. If I'm selling a widget, can I entice or encourage this customer to buy more than just one of these widgets? So, like I did with more customers, for income per customer, there's 4 opportunities. Which of these 4, or maybe a combination of these 4, could you run a 30-day or a 60-day sprint around? So in summary, we're talking about increasing our revenue. There's really only 2 ways to do that. You either have more customers or you create more income per customer, or of course, a combination of those 2. So maybe you'd say there's 3 ways: more customers, more income per customer, or number 3, a combination of the 2. If you want more customers, you got to create more leads or you got to increase your conversion rate. And there's multiple ways to do that we've discussed. If you want more income per customer, you either have to increase your average price, improve your rates, find outside income sources, or find buyers that are in fact able to buy multiple units. There's really 6 different factors there. My focusing question for you today is, which of these 6, if not more than one of these 6, can you take a run at? Can you put focused effort around? And in doing so over the next 30 to 60 days, increase your revenue. I'm asking you the question because what I've found in business is we oftentimes say, I want to increase my revenue. And then we start running 4, 5, 6 different plays. And I get it, but I'm challenging you in that I think a more focused effort may garner greater result. So as we run through this again, the idea here is while you can attack multiple things or paths to increasing your revenue, I think more eggs, in a single basket or two is going to actually pay greater dividends than trying to just tackle revenue as a whole. That's all I have for you today, the No Days Off podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. So let's get after it.